Shalom. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, and these are the true names of the Heavenly Father, His only begotten Son, and the Holy Spirit. I would like to give double honors unto the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and they rule and teach well. And I also like to give double honors unto their elders who taught them. I would like to give peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel. And it begins with the 144,000 men who are the prophets today, and also the great multitude, which consists men, women, and children, who the Heavenly Father is going to have mercy on. And I'm your brother Lamad Amath out of GMS Houston Church, and I'm back with another lesson. So Lord willing, you will be edified. And today's lesson, I want to deal with the topic of famine, which yesterday I touched on it a little bit through a lesson I put up yesterday concerning about the layoffs that's happening throughout the across of the Babylon, because 1 million people had been laid off from their job over the year. Okay, and that's only going to continue happening because we know the agenda of these devils, beginning with the elites. You know, they collapsing, they done it on purpose to collapse this place here, Babylon. Okay, because they got a new agenda that they want to push on the people, and that's that MOTB, the Karagma. All right, as we say, the sea hip. Okay, so before that take place, they have to collapse society. And yesterday I went into a little bit of, speaking on a little bit of Jacob's trouble, which we also spoke about that on the highways and byways over this weekend. Okay, matter of fact, it was Friday. You know, I had street preaching, we were speaking on Jacob's trouble and the things that are going to be happening during that time. And one of the things that's going to be happening is a famine. All right, we're already seeing food prices go up, okay, which that would be an inflation, but pretty soon there's going to be a hyperinflation happening, okay? And to give you a little example of that, meaning when you go into a store, you know, the eggs and milk prices are already up now. I remember you can go in there and get a gallon of milk for $2.50, now it's $5 or $6 now, okay? A box, a dozen of eggs used to be around $2, $3, but now it's $7 to $8. That's an inflation. But a hyperinflation actually work like this. You can walk in the store and get a gallon of milk, say it's $20. For 30 minutes, it might be jumped up to $80. Okay? So, with all these people being laid off from their job because they adding in AI to take the jobs of these people, the technocrats, okay, taking the job from the people. So they're not going to be able to afford no no gallon of milk for no $30 to $100 when they ain't got the money to do it. So the hyperinflation is going to turn to a famine because people are going to lose it and they're going to start running to these stores, okay, getting how they live, as they say. You got to get it how you live, right? Now we saw a little bit of that when they still happening. They haven't received they snaps when Eve was running to the internet talking shit about what they're gonna do. And they do got videos of certain people, even Edomites, running in stores or coming out of stores with a basket full of food, and they just run into their car. Okay, now imagine when society collapsed. Okay, when there's no food out there, no water out there. A lot of people is going to die during the time of Jacob's trouble by famine. No food and no water. And remember, all this is going to happen because of the Heavenly Father Yahweh judging this place, man. And 2/3 of our people is in that is going to be in that judgment, man, for their wickedness. Okay, so let me grab this here in Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things was written aforetime was written for our learning, that we through patient, what's another word for patient? Suffering, okay? That we through patient and comfort, okay, comfort of the scriptures might have hope. All right, and what's another similar word for hope? Okay, we have trust, believe, faith. Okay, and that's the gift we was given, the gift of faith, and also this knowledge of wisdom, understanding, man. So, for whatsoever things were written, or aforetime was written for our learning. All right, that's why we was given this knowledge of wisdom, understanding. You know, seeing the things that our forefathers went through. Okay, and that's why I want to go into our account. Okay, here in Second King chapter 6. Okay. As a matter of fact, before I go into it, which I want to read this in the NLV, I'm going to put it in NLV. I want to grab this because it's nothing new under the sun. Okay. As Jake likes to say in his world, history repeats itself. But it does. Okay. Let me get it here. Salaki. Ecclesiastes. Where you at? Here we go. Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 9. And it reads, the things that has been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. But here's the point. And there is no new thing under the sun. Okay, history repeats itself, basically, okay? So, matter of fact, I'm going to read that in there. I'm going to get that in there. I'm going to get that in the NLT. I'll read it in the NLT. Oh, yeah, see? Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9, see? History merely repeats. Shalaki. History merely repeats itself. You see that? History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. See? Nothing new under the sun. All have been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Okay, so history definitely repeats itself. Now, what I want to go into is this account happening basically to the northern tribes when the king of Assyria came against them. Okay, right here say Aram, okay, in the NLT. But yeah, they came up against the northern tribes, man. Because about this time here, the kingdom had split through Rehoboam and Jeroboam, okay? Which Rehoboam is the son of King Solomon, okay? And the kingdom split, okay? The northern tribes and the southern tribes, which Rehoboam was over the southern tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And then you have Jeroboam over the northern tribes, okay? Starting with Ephraim all the way down to Issachar, okay? And the northern tribe moved to the city of Samaria, and that when I'm about to go into the king of Assyria come up against them, besieging them. Okay, so that's a little history on that. Go check it out. But let's read this account here in 2 Kings chapter 6. It say Ben-Hadad besieges Samaria. Verse 24 it reads, Sometime later, however, King Ben-Hadad of Aram mustered his entire army to besiege Samaria. Okay, and that's where the 12 tribes was dwelling. Okay, the northern tribes. Okay. Verse 25. As a result, there was a great famine in the city. See, that famine. All right. I looked the word up. I'm going to look it up on Google real quick.
Famine.
Famine. Extremely scarce of food. Okay, shortage.
Scarcity.
See, scarcity. Scarcity of food, right? It's a state of being scarce or short supplies, storage. You see, a lack, right? Poverty.
Poverty.
See, poverty. A state of being extremely poor, man. But anyway, hunger. That's it. Basically, just being hungry, extremely, and extreme and worse by scarcity of food that leads to starvation. Ooh, malnutrition and death. You see that? So, famine, man. That's what's coming to Babylon, man. Okay, so as a result, there was a great famine in the city. The siege lasted so long that a donkey's head sold for 80 pieces of silver, man. You hear that? And a cup of doves, dung, meaning doves, shit, man, shit, dung is shit, okay? All right, a cup of doves, dung, sold for 5 pieces of silver, okay? And this is going to happen in these times. This is hyperinflation. People ain't going to have money to afford that, man, afford them high-ass prices. So what they going to do? They're going to lose it, okay? Why you think this devil Trump is putting these troops in these cities? Okay, the National Guards in these cities. America is about to collapse, and that's according to prophecy, man. This place is about to collapse, man. Jacob's trouble, man. Society gonna collapse. You know, we're always speaking about it. We're speaking about it more than ever because we're in a time of Jacob's trouble. It just haven't hit the ceiling yet, man. Of people looting, people, the race wars, the civil war. You know, speaking of the famine, people going to be starving out there, man. Starvation, lack of food, lack of water, supplies, all that going to happen during the time of Jacob's trouble. And the only way you're going to survive that, you're going to need to have that covering of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And that's by having the angels protecting you, man. Okay? So I read it again, 2 Kings 6:25. As a result, there was a great famine in the city. The siege lasted so long that a donkey's head sold for 80 pieces of silver. A cup of doves, I want to say shit, but a cup of doves, dung, sold for 5 pieces of silver, man. All right? Verse 26, because they're going to even get worse than that. What we just hearing, right? One day as the king of Israel was walking along the wall of the city, a woman called to him, "Please help me, my lord the king." He answered, "If Yahweh doesn't help you, what can I do?" Man, you see that? That's powerful. That's why you want to be on the right-hand side, man. Okay? You want that covering. You need that covering of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that protection, man. In the time of Jacob's trouble, when he's at its heightened. Okay? Because we're in it now. We're in the beginning stage of it. It's here. Just like the MOTB is here. That C-HIP is here. Just like World War III is brewing up. It's here. We're in end time prophecy, man. So here she asks, she say, hey, she need help. All right, watch what he answered. Verse 27. He answered, if Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, doesn't help you, what can I do? I have neither food from the threshing floor nor wine from the press to give you. Can't do nothing for you. All right? These people can't do nothing for you during the time of Jacob's trouble. Because everybody going to be in survival mode for themselves, man. Okay? Verse 28. But then the king asked, what is the matter? She replied, this woman said unto me, come, let's eat your son today, then we will eat my son tomorrow. So that's how bad it's going to get when people are going to be eating their own kids, man. Or people literally. People are going to be for the lack of bread. That's in, matter of fact, let's get that before I continue. Second Ezra chapter 15. And I start here, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. And this is Ezra's, by the way. Okay? And it's going into the time of Jacob's trouble. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh or near. One people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. All right, Jacob's trouble. The civil war is going to be happening. Race wars. You know, these devils in the tribes going to be going at it. Okay. Okay. Verse 16. For there shall be seditions among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? Society going to collapse. They don't be giving a damn about the government. They don't be giving a damn about these politicians. Okay, they say as it says right here, they say the course of their actions shall stand in their power, man. People are going to lose it, man. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able because they're going to shut these cities down. Okay? A lot of these, they're going to be having roadblocks set up. Yeah, but they're going to different cities due to the what? The chaos, the seditions of men, the uprising, the anarchy. How are they going to be happening, man? Verse 18, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. Jacob's trouble. That's the time he's speaking about, Jacob's trouble. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Because you ain't going to have the police to save you, man. Everybody going to have to be every man for himself, man. It's not going to be no friends in that day. Every man going to have to be in his own survival mode to protect him and his family. And those who don't have family, they just going to be wilding out, man. People just going to be wilding out. Remember, it's time to Jacob's trouble. And he say none is like it. So we're coming to some evil times that none is like it. We only just can imagine it with the little imaginations we got. But it's going to be crazy out here, man. All right? And that's why we're going to need Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai protection. Okay? And that's by the heavenly angels, which you speak on that in Daniel the 12th chapter. Michael the archangel is going to stand for the people, the elect of the nation of Israel, man. So the angels going to be helping brothers and guiding brothers in that time. All right? But here's the point I wanted to get here in the verse 19. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And what's the sword? The modern day gun. So your neighbor's probably speaking to you now, how you doing? You know, have a good day. But when at time of Jacob's trouble, as it said here, a man should have no pity upon a man should have no pity upon his neighbor, man. Like he never knew you. But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. And here's the point, because of the lack of bread, food, man. And for great tribulations, Jacob's trouble, man. All right, so imagine that, man. All right, so let's go back to 2 Kings chapter 6. I'll start back at verse 28. But then the king asked, "What is the matter?" She replied, "This woman said unto me, come on, let's eat your son today, then we will eat my son tomorrow." So it was that bad, okay, during a time when the heathen, okay, this Assyrian heathen, the king of Assyria came up against the northern tribes, besieged Samaria, that they had to eat their own kids, man. Famine, okay? Hey, history merely repeats itself, right? Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Verse 29. So we cooked my son and ate him. Then the next day I said to her, "Kill your son so we can eat him." But she had hidden her son. Man, you see that? She had hidden her son. So she bamboozled her, man. She's like, "Yeah, let's go ahead. We eat these kids, but we're gonna eat your son today, then we eat my son tomorrow." So they cooked them, ate them down. She was ready to eat her son for the next day. So she said, "Well, we got two days of meal, you know, a week of meal or whatever," because you know he probably kind of spit save a little bit, but they was eating, man. They ate their kids. Well, at least one of them. Man. So yeah, that's the kind of one to share with you, man. Even the time when the disciples, I go to them. I'll put this back in KJV. When the disciples asked Yahushua what would be the end of the world, and that world they were speaking of Esau rulership. Okay, the age. Okay, in Greek is aion, meaning age period. Age period. You know, a period of time. Rulership. Okay, as we said. All right. Now we know this was back then when the Romans was in power, but today we're in the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. So like it. This the revive of the ancient Roman Empire through NATO and EU in America today. All right, so this apply also for today. This is prophecy, future prophecy. All right, because Yahweh Shai haven't came back yet, but he said these things are going to be happening before he come back. Okay, that's what he telling the disciples. So here in St. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3, as he, Yahweh Shai, set up on Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privily, saying, "Tell us, when shall these things be?" And I believe I brought this out of my video yesterday. Okay, but it's the Spirit. "And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" Esau rulership. Okay, age period, right? Verse 4, "And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you." Verse 5, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many." And that's definitely what these other Israelite camps is doing, deceiving their congregation. Okay, saying that they have the truth when they don't. Okay, there's certain camps like IUIC, they don't even reference Yahweh Shai. You know, they reference Jesus the Christ, which is a false God. Okay, So this verse right here can reply. Verse 5 can be used for these false prophets, man. Because you have certain Israelite camps calling on the true name of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai, but their doctrine is off. Okay, and that's be another lesson. Let's get down to the point, which is going to be in verse 7. So verse 6 it says, once again, this is Yahweh Shai speaking to the 12. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, which is a future prophecy, but the end is not yet. For nations shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom, and this the point I want, and there shall be famines, okay, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, right? And we're going to see more famines happening here on the earth, man. People dying of starvation. Okay. Let's get that in, and I'll probably end with this here. Let's get this in Lamentation 4. Okay. Remember, I read Revelation. No, I keep saying Jeremiah, Revelation. I'm way off. I started with Romans 4, which I get it. Again, Romans 15 in verse 4, not Romans 4, but Romans 15 in verse 4. And let me see how this worded in the NLT. All right. And it reads, such things was written in the scriptures long ago to teach us, to teach us, man. And we know we're heading to a time of famine, a great famine, due to the collapse of Babylon, okay? All right, and people are going to be starving to death. All right, so it says, and the scriptures give us hope and encouragement as we wait patiently for Yahweh's promise to be fulfilled, man. All right, so let's get this here in Lamentation. I might just keep this in NLT. So it look like it's better. Let me see. Yeah, I leave this in the NLT. Let's start at verse 8. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 8 in the NLT. But now their faces are blacker than soot. If I'm pronouncing that right. Let's see what it means anyway.
Soot.
Soot. Okay, soot. A black, powdery, flaky. Let me see the images. Let's go straight to, oh, okay. Okay. All right. All right, is what's, okay. All right. So, oh, you could, her face was, oh, shit. He saw them doing blackface, right? And I'm just, so that was a soap. Soap, I'm make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Soap.
Soot.
Soot. Okay, soot. Okay, so now I got the understanding of that and what it is. But now their faces are blacker than soap. Man. No one recognized them in the streets. Their skin sticks to their bones. And it's going into starvation, man. That famine which is coming to Babylon the Great, man. He said, their skin sticks to their bones. It is as dry and hard as wood. But here's the point, verse 9. Those killed by the sword are better off than those who died in hunger. Starving, they waste away for lack of food from the fields. And this is coming to the land of Babylon, man. Okay, many are going to die by famine, hunger, starvation, for the lack of food, man. It's not going to be easy to get the resources, man. Okay, once all hell break loose. And he tell you about that in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. I know I said that was it, but through the Spirit, let me get this, and I'll probably end with this. Okay, and I brought this out yesterday also in my lesson. That's the Spirit, so where I want to start, I just start get straight to the point. Verse 21. Second Ezra 16 and 21. Behold, victuals, meaning food, shall be so good and cheap upon earth. And that's happening right now. You know, people, even though they stopped Eve little snap and they was panicking, you know, but you still can, you know, people still can go in the stores and buy, you know, they food, they victuals. Okay? Remember, it's cheap now, but wait till the hyperinflation really hits. When the hyperinflation hit, oh man. All right. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. These people. Even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusions. Verse 22, which is the point. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish in famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, man. Okay? And that's going to happen, man. Okay? This is prophecy. All right? And prophecy will be fulfilled, man. All right? And that's through Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. So to say that, I end with that, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying to those who have the spiritual ears to hear and spiritual eyes to see, which that go back to the elect of the nation of Israel. And it begins with the 144,000 men, the prophets. And I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, and double honors once again unto the apostles, bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.